Hi, Dina Wakley, and I'm excited to show you about my new Scribble sticks. Listen, I know they look like a crayon, but they're not really because there's no wax. Crayons have wax, and these don't have any wax. And so when you take one of these Scribble sticks, and when you make a mark, it's not gonna move, okay, because there's no wax in it to warm up from your fingertip. But what's cool about the sticks is that they are water soluble. And so you can wet them. Look at my paint water. My paint water is slightly dirty. So that's why I'm getting some extra color here. So the Scribble sticks, you can wet and dissolve, and they can kind of turn into a watercolor effect. So let me show you some of my favorite ways to use them. The first way is that I just love to color stamped images. And so you can lay a little bit of the pigment down right from the stick, and go ahead and take your brush and go ahead and wet it, and then you get a watercolor look. If you would rather have a dry look, then just color it. It almost looks like a colored pencil look. If you just want to color it and not wet it, that's fine too. Another thing that I like to do is I'll just hold the stick in my hand, and I go ahead and I pull the pigment off with a wet brush, and then that's another way to get the watercolor effect just straight from the stick if you don't want to go directly to the paper. So I love to color stamped images with them. Here's some of the new stamps that I colored with the Scribble sticks. Just love it. They just make a wonderful effect. Now, if you would like to, you can take your rubber stamp and go ahead and wet it a couple of times and scribble directly on the stamp itself with your pigment. Now, people always say to me, well, how much water should I use? And I really can't tell you. I just play. Get a piece of scratch paper that won't matter on, and do a little bit of practicing and see what happens. The water, that you can overwater it, you can underwater it, but just practice is better than doing your laundry, so just practice it. And then after you've put the Scribble stick on there, what you're gonna do is stamp. Now, sometimes if you take too long to apply it, you might have to wet it again, but I think that one's okay. And I'm going to stamp, maybe spray it one more time, stamp. Actually, I think I have plenty of water on there. I could probably keep going. I can usually get 5 different pressings from one application of the Scribble stick. And so here's one I did earlier that's dry. So you can do this wonderful direct to stamp technique, and it almost looks like you watercolored the image. That you drew it with watercolor. So I really like that. I think that's hecka cool. Here's another one, a different stamp done with the direct to stamp technique too. So super fun. Now this was the clincher for me, and why I was really excited about these Scribble sticks is they write on dried paint, because you know me, I'm a journaler, and I make acrylic backgrounds with my paint, and then when that paint's dry, it's acrylic, it's plasticky, and it's hard to find stuff the color on it and the draw on it. But the Scribble sticks right on paint, so when paint is dry, you can come back and go ahead and make marks. So here's this blue is dried acrylic from the other day, and then if I come back and think, gosh, I wish I had purple polka dots in her dress, right on that dried paint, look, I can totally use the stick. Now, you can leave it dry like that, or if you want to dissolve the pigment, you're more than welcome to. Okay, and then it turns watercolor-like. Also, the sticks will work on the canvas page in the journal. So that little canvas fabric page that's in the new media journal that we'll talk about in a different video, you can come and you can use the stick right on the canvas, and it just works like a dream. And then you can leave it dry. I actually think it looks quite good dry, but if you want to wet it, you can, and you get that same beautiful effect. I've also been playing with the Scribble stick with the tape. So I put out a piece of white Dina Wakley media tape, okay? Put it right on your craft sheet, on a clean craft sheet. Look, I hardly ever have a clean craft sheet, but hey, look, clean today. And I scribbled right on it. Now, if you wet this Scribble stick, that tape does have a little slippery surface, so it'll bead up a bit. I find them best not wet. Don't dissolve them. But I love the color. They're so pigment and vibrant, and so you can totally get all kinds of cool doodling right on the tape. And then that can go on my journal page. Let's find a page to put it on. You know, that can go on my journal page, and then I write, I love art. I would not usually use the Sharpie, but it was the closest pen next to me today. I love art. And then you've got cool custom tape that you've done with the Dina Wakley media tape and the Scribble sticks. So I hope that gave you some ideas for using the Scribble sticks, and I hope you love them.